Good morning. Let's do some prayers and then meanwhile open your Upanishad. And then we'll try to finish this first chapter today. So it's the last section of the first chapter. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhurbhavasvaha Tatsavitravarenayam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat Asto Ma Satkamya Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya Mrityorma Amritam Gamya Om Sahna Vavatu Sahna Bhunaktu Saviryam Karvavahi तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मां विद्विषावहि ओम शांति 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 Let's open our Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. The title for this section is Ukt Brahman. Ukt. You will see this word in the very first verse of this section. This section, or this Brahman, I should call, is short. And the Rishi over here is saying that this world is constituted of three things: name, form, and action. And then he connects these three with the sound, eye, and body. So form, name, form, and action. Name is connected with sound, form with the eye, and action with the body. So he says, this is the cause. This is the Ukta. Ukta means the cause. Then in the same mantra, he says, the sum, that is the equalizing force, and the Brahma, the support. And all names are permutations and combinations of speech. And the expressed speech, the speech we speak, is the grossest form, which rishis called it Vaikhari. We learned that earlier. Okay? So whenever we say something from our mouth, that's called Vaikhari. And the subtler form of speech is called Madhyama. Then subtler than that is Pashyanti. And Pashyanti word we often read in the scriptures, in the other Upanishads also, in Bhagavad Gita also, Pashyanti. And then the final, the subtlest is the Para. So Para may be compared to the Omkar. This Om, which is being vibrating everywhere, that is Para. That is a transcendental form of speech or a sound in general, and that is the cause. As it is common in all language, in all sounds, and in all names, it is the equalizing force. Because it supports all names. That's why it is said that that is Brahma, Om. And the same way for all particular forms, the I or the general form is the cause, and the equalizing force and support, the I. So this general form contains all particular forms. It's almost like a block of a granite which contains all the different statues in it. Because any statue can be carved out of that one piece of granite. So this world is one of the particular forms carved out of the general form. And the general form being present in all particular forms. And that's why it's called equalizing force. And for all particular forms, Brahm is the sport. And so is the case of this body with reference to actions also. That is the third factor. And the equalizing force and support for all kinds of activity is our body. When it's a cosmic body, we call it a Virat. Because that is the reservoir from which all particular forms of actions are drawn out, Virat. And he is the equalizing factor. And there's a cosmic Pran. That is the main source of the activity which we saw in the previous verses. Cosmos, which is one only, appears as the three: name, form, and action. And the subtle is always hidden in the gross. All names, all forms, all actions are contained in this universal cosmic being. Or you can say the general is veiled by the particular. The supreme is covered by the world. So we all see the names or the forms, but we don't see the being. See, like we are all human beings, but the being we don't see, but the form we do see. It's almost like a person seeing the waves, foam, and bubbles on the surface of the ocean, missing the vision of the great majestic ocean that lies beneath the surface. So in this Upanishad, this Rishi is telling to us to detach yourself from the sense objects of this transient, phenomenal, perishable, unreal world of names, forms, and actions. So detach from that and attach where? He says, attach to the eternal, never changing, immortal Brahm, which is our own innermost Atma. So this is where he's taking us. Because sometimes we wonder that why these complicated verses. But going through these complicated verses, and if we know where we are going, what our goal is, we don't get lost. We always remember that what these rishis are telling us. So let's look at in this particular section, which is a section 6 of this chapter 1. It starts with the Trayam. Trayam means three. Trayam va idam. Nam rupam karam tesham nam nam. Vak iti etat uktam. See, that's where the uktam word is. Uktam atahi sarvani namani उत्तिष्ठन्ति हि एतत् एषां साम एतत् हि सर्वे नाम भी समम एतत् एषां ब्रह्म एतत् हि सर्वाणि नामानि विभर्ति. Verily, this universe is made up of three things: name, form, and action. Sound is the material of those names, for all names arise from it. It is their common feature, for it is common to all names. It is their self, for it supports all names. Etat esham brahm etat hi sarvani namani vibharti. Vibharti means the supports. So this section explains the entire world as a threefold appearance of the one cosmic soul. Because normally we pay attention to the divisions. This Rishi is taking our mind to the entirety. Unitary basis of all phenomena. Who is supporting the earth? Because we think that earth is supporting us. Who is supporting the earth? Who is supporting the sun? Who is supporting the moon? Who is supporting this whole phenomenal universe? That supporter is Brahma. See, just like when we grew up, there used to be chalkboards. In India, we used to call them blackboards because all of them were black. Came to this country, saw green also, blue also. But that board, different teachers can come and write different things on it. But the substratum is what? That board itself. That's how this Brahm is the substratum. So the unitary basis of all phenomena, Brahm. This relative world in its entirety is analyzed and it is found to be composed of only three things. This is what this Rishi is telling us. And these three factors are the name, form, and action. So far in this chapter, we have dealt with the creation in its manifold aspects. Because that's what we have learned in this chapter, the creation. But because we always wonder who created it, where did it come from, what is happening, those questions come to a Jnani's mind. So that's why this Rishi in detail talked about the creation, gave us different examples and different things to meditate upon too, so that we can really understand, not just theoretically, not just memorize all this, but have experience of it too. Anubhav. I always tell you that there's a difference between remembering something and experiencing something. If you have remembered something, it can be forgotten. But if you have experienced something, it is never forgotten. So far, we have dealt with this creation in manifold aspects. But now in this section, we will see that this creation, what actually is. So it's almost like the analysis of this world starts from here. And this seer, this Rishi is penetrating into the secret of the world. And he's discussing it and he's making us think about it, the nature of this. That's why he reduces it to the triad of name, form, and action. So first he gave us a lot of detailed, but now he's giving us in a very short form so that we can remember it too. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, what did he do? He gave 36 different qualities of a Bhagat. He gave many, many qualities of a Jnani, many qualities of a yogi. But then he said, let's look at which you can remember. He gave only 3, if you remember that. What did he say? Stay away from the kam, the worldly desires. Stay away from the krodh, the anger. And stay away from the greed, the lobh. He says these 3 are in aggregate the main enemies of a yogi. Kam, krodh, lobh. So this is a beautiful way these rishis, they condense it for us so that we can remember. Because our mind gets lost into the details sometimes. So that's why towards the end of this chapter, he is giving us these 3. Name, form, and action constitute this material world. So he is reducing it to the triad of name, form, and action. So this world which is perceived by the senses, he says it's not real actually. It is the effect of the avidya, ignorance. So it is a triad, threefold, constituted by name, form, and action, which are being discussed in this section. Because we all know this world is full of forms. And some of those forms have names and other distinguishing them from each other. It has also some form of action to which everyone normally reacts. One of the commonest things we do about an object is to give it a name. We all do that. We meet a person. We want to know the name. We meet somebody, we give our name to them first. I am so and so. So that's why I said the commonest thing we do about an object is to give it a name. You pick up a thing, express its shape, color, characteristics in the terms of the names. We even subdivide the names. There are apples, but then there are Washington apples and a lot of other apples also. Things have no meaning if they have no name and if they have no quality or action. So fundamental is the dependence of the world on name, form, and action. That's why they have become the background of the manifold creation. So that's why this Rishi says that this world is a triad of name, form, and action. Trayam va idam, nam rupam karma. And among these 3, name has for its cause speech, which is mere sound. So name, we got to speak it out. Because all names are spoken by the organ of speech. So sound is common in all names. And why we say that sound is their common factor? Because sound expresses all names. Just like eyes express all forms, body all actions. So it conveys the idea that sound is the common property which underlies the expression of all names. And speech is said to be Brahma for all names. So why is it there Brahma? This mantra gives a reason actually. See, that's how beautiful these mantras are. The answers are embedded in them. We got to learn how to get the answer out. Speech is their Brahm because it supports or sustains all names, all sounds. They owe their existence to speech or sound. And they really do not have any independent reality apart from it. So that's why this Rishi has said that about this. Let's look at the second verse also. Verse number 2 of this section. Ath rupanam chakshu iti etat rupani rupai. Etat sham sam. Etat vidhi sarve rupe samam. Etat sham brahma. Etat sarvani rupani vibharti. The second part of this verse, he's repeating it just like in the first one. Okay. So now form in general is the material of particular form or color. He used the color over here. For all forms rise from it. It is their common feature. For it is common to all particular forms. It is their self, for it supports all forms. So this is verse number 2. So perception of particular form is the second one in this chain. If you want to call it a chain of three things, so form, so perception comes now, which leads from stimulus to action. It is the experience of objects through the medium of the eye or the general form. As a rule, perception is dependent on the difference and the multiplicity of objects. That's why we say that shapes are a differentiating factor. See, like even our bodies are shaped differently. Or the same body also keeps on changing the shape also. So generally a form is something which fills a certain part of your visual field and is defined by means of its difference from other forms. See, like trees in the forest, different names have been given because of the different forms. So we have even given different names to different flowers, different fruits, because they look different. The form is different. So this manifoldness and difference of objects around us seem so tangible and so concrete. And we think that it is real. We perceive it and we think it exists. And our visual experience mirrors what is outside the eye. And we all know that all forms spring forth from or are caused by the eye. And what is eye? The eye is the organ of perception. That's the eye. Common factor for all the forms. No form can exist without the eye, as a person born blind, whose optic nerve is destroyed, cannot see anything. A person who was born blind. So this eye is said to be the Brahm for all forms, because it is their support and sustenance. Now in the third verse, Ath karmanam atma iti etat karmani karambhi tat etat trayam ekam ayam atmaha u ekaha etat trayam tat etat amritam satyen channam pranaha ve amritam नाम रूपे सत्वम ताम भ्याम अयम प्राणः छन्नः इति षष्ठम ब्राह्मण इति प्रथमो अध्याय. So that's how they end the chapter also, with the iti. So this particular verse, it says, the general activity in the body,
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that,
is the source of particular actions. For all such actions arise from it. It is their common feature, for it is common to all particular actions. It is their self, for it supports all particular actions. These, although they are three, are one, this body. The body again, although it is one, is these three. We can see that we have given a name to ourselves, or somebody else gave us the name, then we do have the eyes also. So the deathless principle is hidden by Satya. Deathless. The vital force is the deathless principle, and name and form are Satya. So this vital force is hidden by them. So this is the last verse of this first chapter. So similar to the name and form is the cause of action. So the third one is the action. This body is the medium for the performance of different actions. So body in aggregate performs all these actions. Body is the one stimulates all actions. Since all actions can be accomplished only through the body, that's why it is a common factor. So just like we saw that I underlies all forms, the body underlies all actions. So that's why it's proper to say that this body is only to accomplish certain actions, because that's what it is destined for. It is meant to experience the actions. It is their Brahma. And Brahm means the supporter and the sustainer. That's what Brahm is over here. So, even though we know them as three different entities, name, form, and action, but still it can be said that it's a body alone. Because all bodies have in them these threefoldness. So through this body, we see also, we have the form also, we act also. So the physical and the earthly existence can be divided into these parts. This is the idea. So he's just trying to take our attention towards these three very main activities. So this body, which is the aggregate of all senses, forms, attributes, elements, is these three alone: name, form, and action. That immortal prana, which we have been discussing in the last couple of sections, I should say, is veiled. Because we see the body, the form of the body, we hear the sound, but the prana we don't see. So by the gross body, which is represented here by the word Satya, so he says Satya is a name and form. The idea is that the name and form have limited, and the cosmic prana in the individual body is not limited. Just as in the cosmos, the cosmic mental body of Hiranyagarbha is covered by the physical body of Virat. Even though Virat is big, but still it's covered. The same way, this individualized vital force in each body is veiled. Veiled by the physical body. And because of its functions through the several organs, it's distinguished by different names and forms. So in this way, the entire cosmic life is individualized by these two, the name and the form. So what are we supposed to do with these mantras? Take our attention inward when we meditate. We are familiar with the pran vayu. We are familiar with the seeing power. We are familiar with this mind also. Having a knowledge of all this, taking our attention towards that which sustains it all, without which this body can't exist, without which the sound cannot be produced, without which the eyes can't even see. That is who we are. And this Rishi is taking, that's why I was telling you earlier, that through these mantras, through these meditations, we are supposed to detach from the lower, or detach from the unreal, detach from the perishable. Because no matter how beautiful the form is, we all know it's temporary. So detach from the temporary and attach to the never changing, never dying, immortal, eternal. That's what he's telling us. Because all these verses up to this point are there for us to help take our attention towards that real. So detach from the unreal and attach to the real. So we still have a little bit time. So this is the end of this section. And the next chapter is called, the first section is called Ajat Shatru Brahman. And the subject matter in this section you will see is the realm of ignorance, which is explained. Because of the ignorance, we don't know the real. So that's why it's very important to understand what ignorance is too. And we will see how beautifully this Rishi has made an attempt to differentiate between the knowledge and the ignorance in this section. What is ignorance? It is to hold that the Supreme Self is relative and is bound by the factors of time, space, and causation. That is ignorance. Experiences such as pain and pleasure through our body and mind, it perishes in the end. We have to pay attention to that. We will see a beautiful story in this section where the knowledge of Brahm takes the form of a conversation between Garge and the name of another name for that is Balaki and Ajat Shatru. Garge is the son of Balak, that's why he's called Balaki also. And Rishi Garg, very learned Brahman, who is said to have dwelt among the Kurus, Panchals, Keshis, Vides. So we are familiar with these terms from our other readings from the other scriptures. So this Garga, the son of the Garga, Balak, he goes to Ajat Shatru, then the king of Kashi, to teach him about Brahma. We can see that even not just only the rishis, but even the kings also wanted to learn this. The kings. He approaches the king and puts before him the basic view about Brahma in 12 definitions, all of which relate to the conditioned Brahma. And the king Ajat Shatru does not agree to his imperfect conception or the presentation of the reality. And he gives his conclusive view at the end. This is what we'll see in this section. We'll see that both of them proceed with a progressive definition and determination of the nature of reality through a discussion of the phenomena of waking, dreaming, and deep sleep states. Till at last the conversation ends with the final truth, which is declared by this king, that Brahma is his self and the self of all. It's a beautiful discussion. This conversation becomes highly interesting and illuminating and really presents the absolute subject in a manner which is very easily comprehensible. And this is what will start next week. So it's like this dialogue between these two, Ajat Shatru and the son of Rishi Garg, in other Upanishads also. So some of these stories appear and reappear in different scriptures. So I just wanted to give you a little introduction to the next chapter, so which is a chapter 2. So we'll start next week.
Okay.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnameva Viseshyate Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much.
Harsh ji, after Veena ji, I can sing the song.